I feel really fulfilled when I'm here working with people and working with my hands and creating food and delivering people a memorable experience. Like that is something that you can't bottle and just save forever. Like having people come to Antonio's and love our food or love the experience they're having, oftentimes with other people, right? As much as I love enjoying meals with my family, I want to create that same experience for other people. I had no time to prepare, and so everything that I made, like that pizza that I made it for the first time. Like I was standing there and deciding, what am I going to put on this? I had like a variety of ingredients that I was just gathering, and then I just decided the day of. My side is a hot dog sandwich. I say no. Do you think a hot dog is a sandwich?
Will it fall under there?
I don't know.
It's on.
But like, think about it. If you're going to sandwich this water bottle, it's two separate entities coming together with something in the middle, right? I feel like to say that when it's connected, like that's not a sandwich. Sandwiching is like two separate things together with something in the middle. Two separate. I think that's the key. I think my failures in years past, the many pizzas that I've had to throw away, or like, these pizzas that just didn't work in Vegas, that type of misfortune kind of like geared me up and prepared me to be able to pivot so drastically when I was in Italy. If I wouldn't have suffered or, had a lot of, bad pizzas or whatever it is, if I never would have had those experiences, I never would have known how to handle, making a pizza when everything goes wrong. After I went to college and I did the college thing and then I came back, I was like, nope, actually this is really cool. And, I love my family. I love working for a family business. My husband is on board because having a supportive spouse makes or breaks it. Like
I gotta ask, burger and hot dogs or pizza and pasta?
Okay, so this is actually a hot topic in our family because
I'm glad I asked.
I love hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
I didn't used to, and then I became pregnant with my son, and all I wanted to eat was hot dogs, and now I'm obsessed with hot dogs. And I would actually say, my husband's laughing in the corner, we can't see. It's hot dogs and pizza, burgers and pasta.
Okay.
Still good.
Yeah.
Not as great as hot dogs and pizza. Hot dogs on pizza though? No. Oh yeah. Yep, so there was an exhibit at Notre Dame.
Okay, Notre Dame.
At the Studebaker Mansion, I think. Was it Studebaker? Yeah. And the Italian-American group there put together this amazing display of all these different influential Italian-American families that, were contributing members of society, business owners or like people who were super involved in like parishes that helped like support the local community. And there was like a whole exhibit. And so our family was some of the family that was featured there, which was really cool. So we got to go and look at the exhibit and like see my dad and my grandpa, like on this like display. And there were like other, being the daughter of a business owner in the hospitality industry had made me feel really self-conscious about enjoying that type of work, that you'll never be successful if you run a restaurant. You'll never be fulfilled if you do this. You'll never make any money. Like it was constantly shoved down my throat by people outside of my family that, this wasn't a viable career option, especially for a woman. And it turns out I loved it. And then you eventually, when you love something and you're passionate about something, you really don't care what other people think. Yeah. And so now I'm fully in and I love every second of it, even the hard stuff.
So you can brag about that.
Yes, apparently the other thing is cooler. You can drink out of my trophy. You can't really drink out of your guys' plate.
So, they get a plate?
Yeah, it's like a pizza pan that's like flashy silver in like a glass case. Okay. So it is actually really cool. Okay. But you can't drink out of it.
You can't drink out of it, exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I was debating whether to do my usual intro.
You should.
So, well,
do everything
it's because
normal.
when I edit, I'm like, dude, you're so crazy. I'm like, but then I'm like, well, how are you going to start it otherwise?
Yeah, what else are you going to say?
Yeah.
And Carmela.
Carmela, take over. Alrighty, what's up? It's your boy Felix coming straight out of the 574 Elkhart, E-Town, the city with a heart. And today we have the privilege of having a world champion in the house.
Hi.
Meet Mrs.
Carmela Williams.
Yes.
Yep. Formerly Cataldo, but now Williams.
So. Yep. And Carmela can you tell us a little bit about your big accomplishment recently?
Yeah, so I've been in the restaurant industry for about 14 years, and part of what we do at Antonio's is, we're constantly looking to improve our business, whether that's the culinary side of the industry, the business side of the industry. Anyways, so we always go and we compete in pizza competitions around the world. Pretty commonly we go to Las Vegas, and that's a very big international pizza expo there. And this was our first time traveling to Naples, Italy. My dad, Paul, who is the other owner of Antonio's, he has competed in other places in Italy, like Salsa Maggiore and Parma, but this was our first time in Naples. And so my husband and I, we traveled to Naples, Italy to scout out to see if this was going to be a worthy competition.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking first place, which was really cool.
And the competition or the cup is called Caputo?
The Caputo Cup. Yep.
Okay.
So there's a flour company called Caputo, and
Okay.
they're the ones that sponsor the competition.
Got it.
Yes.
When I first was introduced to you, you shared that it was a bit of a roller coaster ride, heading there because
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
you weren't allowed to take, what were the items that you weren't allowed
We
to
weren't allowed to take cheese. We had like a low moisture mozzarella, and then pepperoni. You can't travel across borders with pork.
Oh, okay.
Pepperoni is pork products, and I guess like disease can get transmitted if you're irresponsible with that. People be doing some sketchy stuff. So
And you said that pepperoni doesn't exist?
it doesn't exist in Italy. Yeah, so like low moisture mozzarella, which is what we use in top of our pizzas, that's not a thing there.
Okay.
And pepperoni is like an Italian American creation, so you can get a lot of different cured meats, but like American pepperoni is not one of them.
Okay.
What most people do though is they just don't say anything and they tuck it away in their bag, and TSA and border control, I guess we found out that they don't really ask about
Check,
it.
yeah.
So we could have just kept our
Could've been
mouths
okay.
shut, but
And
yeah.
and so that led you to creating a pizza
Yeah.
for the very first time.
Yeah. So it's quite the journey. So when I compete for these types of competitions, I normally spend a couple months, like, testing different types of dough or experimenting with different flavors or ingredients or whatever I'm doing. That way, if I don't like my product, I have time to adjust before I compete. And, we had a really stressful time leading up to the Naples trip, and I just didn't have enough time to focus on that. So, when you, at least for me, like when you're trying to run a business, the time that I have to practice and be creative is really early in the morning when nobody else is there, or I wait until we're closed and cleaned up, and then I can go in when nobody's around, try to work and serve other customers, and that's when I do my experimenting. So, yeah, I had no time to prepare, and so everything that I made, like that pizza that I made it for the first time. Like I was standing there and deciding, what am I going to put on this? I had like a variety of ingredients that I was just gathering, and then I just decided day of.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy.
Did you ever think you were going to win that way?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. No, my friend George, when he was driving us to the airport and he was asking us, hey, like you guys should check about this pepperoni mozzarella situation. From that moment that I opened my mouth at the airport, I realized this is going to be a very bad trip. Once like everybody's watching you throw away those ingredients, and it's, you're like, okay, surely I spent all this time preparing for Las Vegas, and then I come in 19th, which is what I had placed in March. So it's like I put all this work in, and I did good enough to do good, but not like I'm not going to mark it that I placed 19th, know? And so this pizza that I'm like creating on the spot, and then we have like all these mishaps happen. Surely there's no way that this could be fruitful.
Yeah.
Apparently it was. So yeah, I was completely blindsided. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of life, like even in bad situations, so much goodness can come out.
Yeah, I mean, the past 6 years of working at Antonio's, and then, you have to put yourself there and be very vulnerable in letting other people judge your product. And so, it can become very overwhelming, especially when you don't place well. Or you think, wow, I've really got something fabulous here, and then you go and then everybody's kind of doing that. So it's a very overwhelming process sometimes because it feels like you're putting in all this work and then nothing is becoming of it. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a stressful experience and it's a little overwhelming. And when you do stuff like that, you're like, there's hundreds of people here. There's no way that
Yeah.
I'm going to persevere out of that. So all that to be said, like I think my failures in years past, the many pizzas that I've had to throw away, or like, these pizzas that just didn't work in Vegas, that type of misfortune kind of like geared me up and prepared me to be able to pivot so drastically when I was in Italy. If I wouldn't have suffered or, had a lot of, bad pizzas or whatever it is, if I never would have had those experiences, I never would have known how to handle, making a pizza when everything goes wrong. Like that kind of like built me up and prepared me in a way for that type of stuff to happen.
For taking number one.
For taking number one, yes.
I'm just gonna check something real quick. Sorry.
Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to be like looking at it or.
No, you're good. I mean, you can at times. I forget.
What's
I know. What's up there? And so, a lot of this is a bit for the audience. Like when they embark on journeys or an entrepreneur adventure or a competition, we're always worrying about what the person may think of the quality, and it's like, have you, apart from the pizza competition, have you had previous competitions that, or sports or anything like that where
No, actually.
No? Okay.
No, and I always say like growing up pizza was my sport. So I grew up homeschooled up until I went to college.
Okay.
So the first 17 years of my life before I went to college, we went to an accredited homeschooling program. And that gave us the flexibility to be involved in the restaurant from such a young age. So I'm only 23, but that's how I've been involved for 14 years, So that was something that we would work at. We would, strive to improve. I've dropped pizzas, I've burnt pizzas, I've underbaked pizzas, and that part in and of itself is a learning experience. And not to say that sports can't prepare you, because I definitely think they can, like the teamwork, the resilience, the passion, the drive aspect of it. But it's a little bit different when every night is, in a sense, is a competition, because the food that you send out to customers at Antonio's, whether it's carry out, whether it's a banquet, whether you're dining in, everybody's judging you. Everybody's judging your food. It's like you don't just get a practice. Every single person that's eating your food is judging you,
That's
even
an
if it's not. Yeah, and they have an expectation. Especially now that we have 3 world titles, they're coming into Antonio's, expecting fabulous, awesome, perfect quality service, because we're talking about how we have these titles. So then why isn't everything must be like world class standard? So that's been super interesting to navigate, especially like being an adolescent, like in high school. You have a lot of pressure, to make everything you prepare look good, taste good, give people this experience that they're coming to your business for.
So when things would go wrong, or when you were through your learning journey, how would you bounce back, or what helped you stay
Focused?
Yeah.
I feel like the debrief is really important. And, there are really good nights that you have in any industry, and then there's, days where like nothing seems to be going right. I think what's been really beneficial for me is the debrief, whether it's with my team, whether it's with my dad, who, up until recently was just my boss, now we're business partners, or like some other family members, about like, okay, what went wrong? How could it have gone right? What do we need to do better for next time to make sure this doesn't happen again, or change this experience, or change this outcome? Is it just like kind of a freak thing that accidents happen? Was it a systems issue? Was it, just something that is out of our control, or can we control it? And I think the debrief helps you identify, is this something that I can control and change, or was this completely out of my control and you've just got to make the most of it? Yeah, that's really hard to do. Really hard to be able to like categorize and separate your feelings like that, of like, okay, I'm emotional because maybe something went wrong, but now I have to look forward to the future and say, how do I prevent this from happening to someone else? Or how do I make sure I don't make the same mistake again? I have this perhaps positive, perhaps negative trait of turning everything into a learning experience. And I think that's been beneficial, especially in this industry when everybody's a judge. And we have 40 employees at Antonio's, which is relatively small compared to like the RV industries or other restaurant groups. But, people are depending on you. People are looking to you. So it's important to like lead that team forward in a positive way and not like dwell on this was bad. Yeah.
It almost reminds me of like when a team loses, and they
Yeah.
go back to the drawing board and literally analyze what could be improved, what
Absolutely.
went wrong,
Well, and that's just the same thing in competition too, right? I've been in dead last before, literally last place. And it's like you have to decide, are you going to let this define your craft? Are you going to take one loss and say, I'm done forever? No, it's just like any other sport. You miss a goal when you're playing soccer and you just keep practicing over and over and over until you get more accurate or straight or, fast or whatever it is. It's just repetitiveness and passion and drive. You gotta have all of it.
Yeah. When I first encountered you and interacted, I believe you were wearing a hat that read "Women in Pizza," or do you usually have that?
Women in Pizza is an organization in the pizza world, and I'm a part of the organization.
Oh, got it. So it's in a whole organization.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is that just in support for women?
Yeah, so the culinary industry is primarily male dominated, and there is not, up until recently, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of exposure for women to be well known in the restaurant industry or have support being in the restaurant industry. Being a woman business owner is much different than being a male business owner. Not that either is worse or better, it's just a very different experience. And so in a way it's support, but it's also great for connection. It's great for community. It's great for bouncing ideas off of other women who are in the same shoes as you. And I think just having like a supportive community is essential. Like we're designed to be in community with one another. It's especially in Elkhart. Like I don't really know a whole lot of other women business owners. I'd like to know more. I'm kind of new to the whole owning a business experience. So I'm always looking for other women to connect with, and Women in Pizza is a great way to like get connected with other women in the same shoes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, Carmela, I'm sure you've had numerous interviews already. How has it been post-win? Post-win, exactly.
It's been really overwhelming in a good way, I think. Antonio's has been super busy because everyone wants to come try the pizza, which is awesome. I feel like, oh my gosh, you want to eat something I made? It's crazy. Meanwhile, I make, hundreds of meals a week, but it's like, oh my gosh, you want to try my pizza?
Like this one.
This one is for me, yeah. So that's been really overwhelming in a good way. I never feel like I really know how to handle like people being jazzed for me. It feels like a really weird experience. Like people are coming up and talking to you. People are saying, hey, do you want to do this interview? Do you want to do this podcast? And I'm like, I feel like I've kind of made up my way through life this far. Like it's crazy that people are even wanting to like talk to me about my experience, which is cool, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's a growth moment.
Yeah, definitely. And you've actually won a championship at the age of 17,
yes.
I believe?
Yeah. Yeah, so I've been involved in the restaurant business since I was 10. Started like making pizzas around 13. And then, I've always watched my dad compete for many, many years. And that's something that you kind of just grow up watching and you're like, one day I'm going to do it. And so I competed at 16 at a competition in Columbus, Ohio. Back then, I think it was called the North American Pizza and Ice Cream Show. But now I think it was like the Pizza Pizzazz competition, and then now it's part of Pizza Today, like their pizza expos. But yeah, I competed when I was 16, and then I placed 4th, and then I spent that whole next year like coming back with a vengeance. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna win. I've greatly improved my skill. Like I know how to work the ovens better. I know how to stretch the dough better. In 2019, earlier this was the year before, my dad had just won for the first time in Las Vegas.
Okay.
He won his world title. And so I used that same dough recipe when I competed in 2020. Of course, this was a month before the world shut down for COVID. And yeah, I became the youngest winner to ever win at 17 years old for that competition. So then imagine my surprise every time after that, I like started dropping lower and lower and lower and lower. And I've convinced myself at this point that I had peaked early and that, I'm never going to win again. And I've just got to get okay with losing all the time. And then this kind of came out of left field and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I didn't peak too early. So
And so after that championship, have you competed each year following it?
pretty much, yeah. So I had just graduated high school early in 2020, and then a couple months later, like in August, we went to college. Everything was pretty much set down for like the rest of 2020. The following year in 2021, I went to Las Vegas again, and I competed in the non-traditional division, which essentially means that there's no rules. You can do whatever you want. And I got second place internationally. So that was like, oh, cool. Like for my first time, like competing internationally, like that's not too shabby. And then literally every time after that, it was like 10th, 15th, 19th, 23rd, bottom. So, it gets fun. It's really fun to compete. And I feel like I've had a really good experience competing for the most part, just because, when you go to these types of events, if you're not familiar with how food shows work, there's so much more to do there than just compete. Like competing is such a small, like facet of these shows that, there's seminars, there's education, you get to meet with vendors, you get to meet like other people in the restaurant industry, you're connecting with people you maybe only see once or twice a year. So there's a lot of networking, really great opportunities to grow yourself, grow your business, improve your team, improve your product, even if you don't place well. So that is always reassuring, like, okay, I maybe got last place, but I got this new product that's going to really benefit our business, or I heard about this new technology that's going to enhance my online ordering, or whatever it is. So it's been positive.
There's multiple ways to win at least.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Which you have to be, I think, really emotionally mature to recognize that. I think if I were to only focus on just the winning, I feel, and let that ruin my trip, then it's like I'm not being exposed to like all these other cool things.
You miss out on.
Yeah, you miss out on the people, the places, the things. Like the competition is important and can be really good for your business, but at the end of the day, it's just one part, not the whole.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you describe your winning pizza at age 17?
Yeah. It was a surprise. It made me feel like I had some street cred because I've been working a lot. Like at 17, I was in the store like every single day. I was, doing my food orders. I was managing inventory. Like I had a lot of responsibility at a very young age. And so going to these types of competitions and doing well felt like validation that, oh, I'm where I'm meant to be. And that felt really cool to be like 17 and have this cool title under my belt. At that point in time, I didn't think that I was going to be continuing with pizza as a career. I didn't really decide that until I met my husband, and he was like, hey, you seem like really fulfilled by this. I think you should explore this a little more. So it was Jack that kind of convinced me to really accept that I was happy in the restaurant industry and that I needed to stop running away from it. But,
Were you trying to?
Yeah, I went to college, and I went to college in South Bend, and I was studying Roman Catholic theology with like a focus in English literature. And, I was dead set on, researching and writing, and, I wanted to be in this like world of academia. I was thinking I was going to go to grad school, but I ended up kind of feeling like that wasn't right for me by my senior year because the grad schools that I was interested in going to were at Notre Dame, and they were programs that it didn't really mesh well with being married. Just because you live in community with other people in the program, and so that's kind of hard to do when you're a married individual. But Jack and I, we started dating when we were 17 and when we met in college, and, we always knew we were going to get married. It was just a matter of when. I wanted to be graduated before we tied the knot because I felt like I needed that. But, I was like, I'm not postponing. We were engaged, I think, at this point too. And I was like, I'm not postponing getting married for 3 years just to go do this program. And I was like, this just doesn't seem like it's a good fit for our life. Like we knew we wanted to be together. We knew we were getting married like the following year. And I was like, this doesn't seem to fit. I could have gone anywhere in the country, but my family's here. I didn't want to venture too far away. I wanted to be rooted somewhere in Indiana at the very least. We didn't know where we were moving, where Jack would be getting a job, where I would be getting a job. So it was kind of at that moment that I was like, I don't really think this is for me. And then I moved home before I got married, and I was there for like 6 months. And I started working at Antonio's full time because I had done it like part time throughout college. And I was like, I'm loving this. And Jack was like, you really should think about this as a career. I was like, no, it'll never be a career. Because a lot of people in my life, you know, being the daughter of a business owner in the hospitality industry had made me feel really self-conscious about enjoying that type of work, that you'll never be successful if you run a restaurant. You'll never be fulfilled if you do this. You'll never make any money. Like, it was constantly shoved down my throat by people outside of my family that, you know, this wasn't a viable career option, especially for a woman. And, you know, my dad is extremely successful as a business owner and a restaurant owner. So I really grappled with that. I felt like that, like, in my head, that didn't make sense, but I was a little, like, kind of scared because I was like, you know, all these people are going to judge me if I, you know, come back and work at Antonio's. But it turns out I loved it. And then you eventually, when you love something and you're passionate about something, you really don't care what other people think. And so now I'm fully in, and I love every second of it, you know, even the hard stuff. Turns out I loved it, and then you eventually, when you love something and you're passionate about something, you really don't care what other people think. And so now I'm fully in, and I love every second of it, you know, even the hard stuff.
So you had to wrestle a bit with what other people had to say and what you were experiencing and seeing for yourself.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And from like a super young age, I was always like, one day I'm going to own Antonio's. One day I'm going to do this.
Oh, so at a young age, it was a goal.
Yeah. As a little kid, I was like, this is what I'm going to be doing, and this is so cool. And then you get to be a teenager, and you let other people kind of influence your thought, whether you intend to or not. And I'm like, no, I'm changing my mind. Like, I don't want to do this. And then after you kind of get out of that, after like I went to college and I did the college thing, and then I came back, I was like, nope, actually this is really cool. And, you know, I love my family. I love working for a family business. My husband is on board because having a supportive spouse makes or breaks it. Like, if you don't have somebody who supports you through, like, the restaurant industry is very difficult. You know, it's long hours, it's working weekends, you don't get nights off, you have to sacrifice a lot. So if your spouse or your partner isn't on board, it's extremely isolating. We have a child. Like, there's no way I would be able to do this without the support of my husband, the support of my family, you know? So over time, you know, you kind of figure out, actually, I'm really at peace with this. I feel really passionate about this line of work. I feel really fulfilled when I'm here working with people and working with my hands and creating food and delivering people a memorable experience. Like, that is something that you can't bottle and just save forever. Like, having people come to Antonio's and love our food or love the experience they're having, oftentimes with other people, right? As much as I love enjoying meals with my family, I want to create that same experience for other people. It's sharing, you know, emotions, your stress, your love around a table. It's a very common place for people to gather and to reconnect, slow down, yeah, and we can help shape that experience for you, you know? So it's really fulfilling now.
Well, Jack, you've done a great job. So you've been doing a great job.
And Jack's fully involved in the restaurant too. You know, he works 2 full-time jobs, and he has his morning. I always say he lives a Hannah Montana life. Do you know who Hannah Montana is?
Yeah.
Okay.
The blonde.
Yeah.
Growing up,
Cyrus,
I kind of remember.
Where she's like, you know, regular girl by day and pop star by night. That's Jack. He's a regular 9 to 5er during the day, and clearly a pizza pop star by night with me. So, you know, it works for us. Not for everybody, but it works for us. Yeah.
And you've competed as well, or did you compete?
I just competed that first time in Italy.
Which, like, what a way to enter the industry. Like, no intro, schmintro, like, competition. Like, it was like, guns blazing, the birthplace of pizza. Jack, let's have you do that for the first time.
My hands were shaking. And I was literally shaking so vigorously when I was making my pizza. But then I got over it. But.
Yeah, I mean, there was just, like, it was a crazy trip. It was a crazy trip. So, but, like, proud that my spouse is invested that much. Proud that my spouse is, you know, alongside me in this journey. And it's definitely not an easy one. You know, running a business is crazy, and let alone one in the hospitality industry, there's a lot of highs and lows, you know, and having somebody to kind of like share that with you and share that responsibility and like not have to shoulder that weight alone is really good. Yeah.
How close would you say you are with your father, Antonio, and how impactful has he been in your life?
My father's name is actually Paul.
Antonio
is my grandfather.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I got it wrong.
No, that's okay. It's a really common misconception. So Antonio's was started by my grandfather Antonio in 1979.
And so, sorry.
Along with my dad and then his brother.
Bruno.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so we're all connected. They were the OG owners. Over time, people venture out and do their own things. Obviously, Bruno, did Bruno's Pizza. Technically, we used to be called Bruno's at the dawn of time, but transitioned into Antonio's after we had to restructure our business in the late 80s, if I remember my history right.
Okay.
I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. So it was Bruno's and then got rebranded into Antonio's later down the line.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so that was many different members of my dad's family, immigrants getting here in the 60s, wanting a different life, wanting a prosperous life. And what better way than to be your own boss, to start your own business, to make something from the ground up. So, most people don't work with their parents. Most people don't work with their spouse, but for us, it works really well. I would say my dad and I are very close, maybe too close to the point where he's like, Carmi, I don't need your opinion. I blur the line of daughter to father respect and I'm your business partner, so I feel like we should hash this out. So it's been really good for us. Again, it's hard to run a business by yourself and to have, not only a husband that's supportive. My mom is my full-time caregiver for my son so that I can be at work continuing this family legacy. And, my son is with somebody that I love and trust. And, I know that she's taking care of him in the way that I want him to be taken care of. Yeah, absolutely, with family. And then, my dad, he's been there for me since day one. He's coached me through all these different competitions. He's helped shape me into the person I am today. I would be nowhere without his pushing of you can do this. I have faith in you. I have confidence in you, And not everybody is blessed to have parents like that. And I recognize that, which makes me feel even more grateful and more blessed to have a very tight inner circle that, everything that they're doing is to help set up Jack and I to make sure this business continues on for another 48, 50 years. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been really good for us.
I was doing a bit of research, and to be
you
honest...
stalked us. I said, so you stalked us.
I did, I don't know why I got mixed up with the data or the research that I did, because I did notice, I believe, was Antonio born in 1926 or 1920s?
Yeah, that's 20s.
Because then I did the math, I'm wait, that would make him 100. I'm
yes.
Wait.
Well, my brother's named Antonio as well.
Oh, got it.
Yes, so it gets a little confusing because it's how many, everybody's name is Tony, so.
My middle name's actually Antonio too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
well, see, there you go. It gets really confusing.
And I read on one of the pictures that Paul, your dad was in, I believe it was it in Ohio? No, it was in Indianapolis. I believe it was influential Italians in northern Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yep, so there was an exhibit at Notre Dame.
Okay, Notre Dame.
At the Studebaker Mansion, I think. Was it Studebaker? Yeah. And the Italian-American group there put together this amazing display of all these different influential Italian-American families that, were contributing members of society, business owners or people who were super involved in parishes that helped support the local community. And there was a whole exhibit. And so our family was some of the family that was featured there, which was really cool. So we got to go and look at the exhibit and see my dad and my grandpa, on this display. And there were other, Italian members that we knew, close family friends. And it was very cool. Yeah. Our family, like many other immigrants, has worked extremely hard to create a new life in the United States. And I think about my dad immigrating to the United States with his family and the incredible journey that it took to go over here and establish yourself and try and acclimate to this new country and then build a business. And then not only for that to start a business, but to create a successful business that has now been handed down for 3 generations. So it's something that I'm immensely proud of. I'm very proud of my heritage. Most people don't know I'm also half Irish. Oh. So that's a little bizarre too. Half of my siblings have
Is that your mom's side?
That's my mom's side. Her parents were from Ireland. And so we've got this lovely Italian-Irish Catholic, spunky, fiery like personality group, which is really entertaining. So
This is gonna bother me.
it's live, yeah.
It's so big.
If it comes over, we'll slap it. Yeah.
While I was on that note and on that display, I did read a quote, and you can tell me if this is something your father or your grandpa or
Mhm.
you know that's been shared throughout your family. It read, "You can do anything except leave your family."
Yeah, that seems like something that my grandfather has said.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the pillars of perhaps any immigrant family, but specifically for the Italians, is loyalty, honor, and respect. And all those are tied to, protecting the sanctity that is your family. There is no one that you can rely on more, no one that you can lean on for support more than your blood relatives. And that was like a practice that was, from the first Italian Americans that moved here, like your family was your unit, they were your people. And, the community was really strong. And I think that's true of our family now too. Everybody has, different personalities. We all are doing different things. Some people have kids, some people are in other lines of work. My sister's gonna be a nurse, my other sister's in finance, like there's all types of things, but who do I call when I have a question? It's going to be my sisters or my dad or my mom. Or who do I need to call when something crazy happened at work and I need you to come help me cover? It's like I'm calling a family member.
Yeah.
There's no one I can rely on more than my family.
Yeah.
So,
Truly.
yeah.
Truly.
And again, I know that that's not true for everybody, which is why I feel so blessed to say that, to feel like I can say that, because it's not. It should be a universal experience, but it's not. And so that makes it even more precious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I get that because there can be a lot of fights between families that, keep them from
Sure.
speaking
Yeah.
to each other, or even getting together. And it's like,
Yeah. I mean,
we're social beings, so it's like.
absolutely. And we're meant for community. Yeah.
Now, you are an Italian American, correct?
Yes.
Irish?
And Irish.
Italian,
Yes.
Irish.
I also
American.
claim Irish American, though
Okay.
not as loudly.
Not as loudly.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, burger and hot dogs or pizza and pasta?
Okay. So this is actually a hot topic in our family because
okay, I'm glad I asked.
I love hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
I didn't used to, and then I became pregnant with my son, and all I wanted to eat was hot dogs, and now I'm obsessed with hot dogs. And I would actually say, my husband's laughing in the corner, if you can't see. It's hot dogs and pizza, burgers and pasta.
Okay.
Still good.
Yeah.
Not as great as hot dogs and pizza. Hot dogs on pizza, though, no thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say,
don't-
wait,
I
I
don't-
thought you were gonna say
No,
good. No.
I don't think that they should be intermingled like that.
Mhm.
But I'm a big fan of a hot dog. And we were talking last night about, is a hot dog a sandwich? I say no. Do you think a hot dog
Will
is a
it
sandwich?
fall under there?
I don't know. But
Its own.
But think about it. If you're going to sandwich this water bottle, it's two separate entities coming together with something in the middle, right? I feel like to say that when it's connected, like that's not a sandwich. Sandwiching is like two separate things together with something in the middle. Two separate. I think that's the key.
Have you guys had tortas?
No.
Like Mexican, like tortas?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
They're big, they're like dough.
That's a
bread.
sandwich because it's not
Okay.
connected.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, it starts off
Jack's
closed.
like,
It starts off closed, right? And then
Yeah.
they cut it.
Yeah.
So what if
Separate.
they didn't cut it?
It's something different. I don't really know what you would call it. But all I know is I really enjoy a good old fashioned ballpark hot dog.
Ballpark?
Yeah, with
What does that have? That?
like a classic American hot dog. And my
Ketchup.
preference is jalapeno mustard. I don't want to have anything to do with ketchup. A jalapeno mustard goes so hard. So good.
I gotta know
I'm
that
telling you,
one.
yeah, it's the way to go.
Yeah.
Jack's like over here losing it. That's funny.
Now that I'm talking to some pizza experts,
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
and big debate: does pineapple go on pizza?
So, do I think it should go on pizza? It's an Italian American. I would say it's an American thing.
Oh,
I wouldn't even
okay.
say pineapple doesn't exist on pizza in Italy.
Oh,
Just
okay.
like chicken Alfredo is not a thing in Italy. Chicken Parmesan is not a thing in Italy. Like this is like an Americanized way to do that. However, people put crazy stuff on pizza. When I was competing a couple years ago, somebody had like filet mignon and gold flecks. of like edible gold flecks that were on their pizza. How do you even execute that? Or like, you know, you're putting lobster on a pizza, or you're putting, I don't know, like you can put anything on a pizza and call it pizza. Do I think pineapple, like, the way we do it here, like in the United States, I feel like it's kind of mid. I feel like if you're doing something fancy, like a pineapple salsa or like grilled pineapple, and you're like making a themed pizza out of it that's a little bit elevated, sure, I could be convinced.
Okay.
But pineapple, like on a New York style, like I just like, there's so many other things you could order. I feel like that's not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think it's mid here, at least in the
I think
US?
it's mid. I feel like there's other toppings you could get that's better.
Okay.
But if it's a themed pizza that has a little bit more thought, that's you're like elevating the pineapple, I think it's okay.
I personally always defend pineapple because I like the combination of pepperoni, jalapeno, and pineapple. Those three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty common. And everybody's entitled to their own taste.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody taste is subjective. I don't love it,
Yeah.
but other people do, and I think that's great for them. So, yeah. But great question. It's very divided in the pizza industry. It really is.
Yeah.
Some people are like, absolutely not, and other people are like, yeah, let's do it. Let's not do it. I don't recommend
Okay,
it.
so Carmela, no.
Yeah, for the record, I don't love it.
Dang it.
But you do what you want, boo. So,
Can you tell us a little bit about Italy? What do you love the most about it and the culture? And now that I know that you're Irish as well, you could share.
yeah. So I've never been to Ireland,
Okay.
unfortunately. It's on the bucket list, but I have not been. We've been to Italy 3 times, like the past 10 years. I went when I was 13 for a pizza competition. It was my first time out of the country. And, you know, I think what was overwhelming for me at 13 is their approach to leisure. And I still think that this is true now. Like as an adult, I just appreciate it more because I can partake in like the Aperol Spritz culture, if you know what I mean. But like their approach to leisure is so different in the United States. Like businesses are closed between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock because it's nap time, you know, or like they're just like, we start dinner at 7 p.m. You know, everything is much later, but then also, and like just everything about it is just, they want to enjoy their day. They want to be able to sit and chill and digest their food and not feel like they're rushing around and enjoy every bite and enjoy every sip. And I think that that's really beautiful. And that's one of those things that like, I think Antonio's can do really well is that we want to deliver an experience for you. I want you to come in and feel relaxed when you sit down and you're talking with your friends and family and you're having, you know, a cocktail or a glass of wine and you're enjoying appetizers and, you know, you're having, you know, salad and pasta and pizza and then it's dessert and then you're having a digestive. And then like you're kind of like partaking in this experience that makes you slow down and chew your food and digest your food and feel good after you eat a meal. And everything in the United States right now is just so heavily processed and it causes so many health issues. You know, half of my family has gut issues. Why? I don't know. It's not genetic. It's just the food that we're eating. It's the way that we're treating our bodies. And I really admire the way that Italian culture like prioritizes that. And I think that's beautiful. So I wish we did more of that there. I'm like, yeah, would I like to stop work at 3 p.m. and have a little aperitivo, a little Aperol Spritz before I continue on with work? Sure. But like, that just doesn't work here.
Yeah.
You know, Americans are very like, go, go, go.
Yeah.
No time for rest, you know? So, I mean, when we were traveling, like, it's just beautiful. Everything about Italy it feels like super sacred in a way, not just because of like the religious ties, but because of like the Roman history and like the history, like there's so much history that's preserved that we just don't have in the United States. You know, it's hundreds of years old, you know, in Italy, whereas like we're like 250 years old here. So there's just a lot more history, there's a lot more tradition, you know, the buildings, you know, the food that are recipes passed down, you know, I really think that that's really interesting. And I'm like, when we go to Rome, we want to have Roman dishes, or when we're in Naples, we want to eat things that are from Naples. You know, they have kind of that type of, they hold on to that part of culture, kind of in the way that's like when you go to the South, you know, you have like Texas barbecue, or you're in New York, you get New York style pizza. Like there's different things in the United States, but the United States is so vast whereas like Italy is like the size of Indiana. So it's cool that they have like that much history and culture preserved in like such a small space. Yeah.
I think that's awesome that they prioritize, like you said, leisure and experience and just community with their family, because here I feel like we're so isolated and we're so on the go in the rat race, and I feel like that contributes to mental illness as well.
Absolutely.
Apart from like diet or physical, you know, like.
Yeah, it's extremely isolating. Yeah.
Wow, I want to go to Italy.
You should. It's fabulous. And honestly, it's cheaper to go to Italy for us than it is to go to Disney World. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like the food is their cost of living is just lower. Not really sure about their other types of political structure and tax codes and all that jazz. But like when you're going to Italy, you're paying €4 for 2 croissants, 2 cornetto, and 2 cappuccinos this big. Like €4. That's not a lot of money. When you come to Starbucks and you're paying $9 for a drink this big.
Right.
Like you're spending $35 at Starbucks for the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes you feel like you can spend more money and eat more and try more things because the prices in your head just feel lower. Like you're paying €3 for like a whole ice cream cone of gelato. Like that's just crazy. Like you're going to Disney and paying $15 for the same thing, if not more. Yeah. So just like the whole experience, it encourages people to try things. It encourages you to have the drink, to have the appetizer. We went out to dinner one night. We had, over like the course of our 3-hour dinner, we had like 2 glasses of wine each. We had 2 appetizers, we had an entree, we had a protein, we had a dessert, we had coffees at the end and like an after dinner drink, and it was €100. That's crazy prices. Here, that'd be like $400.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes you want to just go try everything and experience it all.
Yeah.
So you should go to Italy.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
Ditch Disney, okay?
Yeah,
go
for sure.
to Rome. So, yeah.
Sorry, I heard a phone. Was that?
That was mine.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
sorry.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Like, is somebody calling me?
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't mine. So I was born and raised, and then where you went to school, but you did mention that you were homeschooled.
Yeah, people have a bad rap for homeschoolers. Like, people think we're like isolated weirdos that can't talk to people and like have no personality, and like I was the exact opposite. I think because we had exposure to the restaurant at such an early age, we learned social skills, we learned how to work as part of a team, we learned how to talk to adults, which is really difficult for like young people that I encounter now. Like it's really difficult for people to look in the eye and shake my hand and ask how you're doing, So I had a very positive homeschooling experience, and like my school was like actually legit in the sense that it was an accredited college preparatory homeschool curriculum out of Virginia. So it was legit. But yeah, we were able to travel a lot. We were able to take vacation and like go to Italy in the middle of, April when everybody would be in school. I was like, bye guys, I'm going to Italy for 2 weeks, because you had the flexibility to work ahead and move at your own pace. Whereas like when you're in school, you're stuck kind of in the rat race.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. No sports though. I did like swimming a little bit, and we did martial arts a little bit at Steve's gym, which was local Elkhart staple, for like a couple years, but for the most part it was.
So you can whoop some butt.
Yeah, a little bit. What do you say? No, but I mean the things that we learned was, how do you write a check? How do you invest money? How do you run a business? How do you plant a garden? How do you cook? It was like very useful skills, but very different than what other people were doing at my age. So that alone felt super isolating, right? I had friends because I was like involved in youth group, and I, had family friends. It was clearly socialized, but while they're going to like a football game on a Friday night, I was like, I'm gonna go make 200 pizzas and have a crisp root beer after work, at like 16. So, it feels isolating because I didn't really connect with a lot of people my age, just because I was in like a completely different stage of life. It benefited me in the long term, but like perhaps I was lacking in that like kind of like core adolescent experience. But yeah, you have to give up one or the other,
right?
Yeah. So, all good stuff.
Can Can you share a little bit of Paul's new Italian restaurant in Elkhart?
Yeah, so Amici, I'm not like super involved in Amici, but it's kind of Paul's baby with Navarre Hospitality Group. But, you know, we had just gotten married in August of 2024, and that entire time, so I got pregnant on my honeymoon, and so like the entire time that they're like testing the menu and picking out plates and all that stuff, a lot of that was kind of like overlapping with some stuff at Antonio's. So I was like getting more and more pregnant as we were like getting closer, as Paul was getting closer and closer to opening this restaurant. And, you know, the opening date kind of changed a few times, which worked out for the better of the business, but it like ended up being that I gave birth on a Saturday to my son, and I went to the Amici's opening that Tuesday. So that was crazy, but I was like, I've waited my whole life to go to a restaurant opening. And, you know, my son, who's, you know, 3 days old, is, you know, going fresh out of the womb. But, so it was just like a really rapid transition, really weird timing. I was 5 months pregnant, 6 months pregnant, when I had like signed papers in January of, oh, I'm going to become an owner. So like I was signing paperwork in January, and then Amici opens in May, and then I had my son like a few days later, and then like that whole year I like totally blacked out. It was trying to figure out how to like be a mom to like a baby, and then also be present for a business, and then not feel guilty about being with one and not the other. So, you know, my husband Jack really, and my sisters kind of like took the brunt of Antonio's so that Paul could be at Amici, like helping them open successfully. And then I was at home with our baby for a couple months. So everything's been going really good there, though. You know, they're busy. They're open 7 days a week, which differs from what we do at Antonio's. The food is fabulous, but it's like kind of like a different. We never have like overlapping menu items, so like you can't get what you get at Antonio's at Amici and vice versa. So then it's like a whole other experience or a whole other display of Italian food that if we're not serving it at Antonio's, then you can also try something new and cool and Italian at Amici. Gotcha. So it's really been really cool. And I think opening a second restaurant, even though I didn't do it myself, like I've been there kind of in the background for the whole process, and we've been able to learn a lot of really new things, be exposed to a lot of really cool people, and you kind of like what you do when you go and compete at these food shows. It's like you're networking, you're educating yourself, you're taking things like, hey, this is really cool. I think we could modify this and apply it to Antonio's, you know, to continue to make our business better and better. And so it's been cool to kind of have, again, like not that I'm running that restaurant by any means. I'm just kind of like involved in the background a little bit. You learn a lot from other people. Yeah. And the Navarre Hospitality Group has a lot of restaurants, so they know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two, you know? So that, yeah, it's been a really cool experience to just kind of have somebody to kind of bounce things off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be in that circle.
Yeah, and they're open on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, which we're not. So Jack and I can actually go to eat at Amici's, which is a really fun experience because good luck finding anywhere to eat in Elkhart on a Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Right. It's not a Chinese restaurant, you know, or you're getting tacos, and like you can only have so many tacos and like kung pao chicken before you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit of what your goals are for Antonio's and what direction you want to take it? Now that you are
that's a good question.
Owner.
So I'm only part owner,
okay.
So you know we're still pretty split at this point. But Paul definitely lets me put my input in and help execute things. And I think you know what any business strives for is a consistent employee and customer experience. And I think a goal of Jack and I have is to continue to improve that. We want people to love working at Antonio's. We want people to want to stay at Antonio's. We want people to have a really consistent experience as a customer. And that kind of reflects how we have to kind of go back and like rethink about how we're training people, or we're rethinking how we can improve menu items, or like restructure the menu, or make it easier for people to order from us like through online ordering. So we're really interested in continuing to, you know, be as available to people of every situation that want to come eat at Antonio's, whether you're coming after your son's football game, or you're coming after a dance recital, or you're hosting your wedding rehearsal dinner for us, or we're catering a funeral. Like, we want to be present for people for every stage of their life. And we want our food to be a part of that. And we've been doing an excellent job of that in the past, but now that we have two more people, Jack and I, to be like added to the scenario, we can continue to execute that on a hopefully a bigger scale long term. You know, we want to be, you know, catering things for people every single day, multiple days, like multiple catering orders every single day for, you know, 52 weeks a year. Like we want to continue to maximize our ability to be present for people who want our food. Yeah. And, you know, being a family owned and operated business up until recently, you know, it has been family operated in the sense that there was like 5 or 6 family members there on any given night. Well, people's lives change. You have kids, you get another job, you move on, and you know, they're still there for me, but Antonio's isn't everybody's full-time job anymore. And so we've had to bring new people in and like restructure again, like training and recipes and things like that. So now that we have like a different staff in that sense, like we want to, now that we're bringing new people onto our team, we want to keep adding new people. We want to keep growing our business so that, like I said, we can continue to be available for every occasion you have. We want to be there. We want you to be eating our food.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll definitely be back because
yes.
I want to try more things on
yes.
the mozzarella
sticks go crazy.
We're so thick with cheese.
Yeah.
And like my partner says that she's a cheese lover. And she's
like, you can only have one.
No, she took a little bit out. I'm like, I thought you were a cheese lover. I was just gulping them down. Yes. I ate most of them. They're delicious.
They're super fun. We like hand dip every single one. There was like one time in a night that I had like done 300 of them. And I was like, okay, you guys need to stop ordering these mozzarella sticks because like we dip them in batter and drop every single one into a fryer. Like these aren't like pre-batched. They aren't like pre-made. Like yeah, it's very labor intensive.
That's why they're so good.
That's why they're so good, yeah. So, they don't travel great. Some people like it when they get soggy in a box, but like they don't have like a thick breading on them. That's like a Drake's mix. It's like a batter. So like when you put it in a box, like it changes the consistency. Some people really love that. We don't have complaints about it, but I'm like, I wouldn't want to eat these after like it's been in your car for 20 minutes, you know?
No, yeah, so, they're very good.
Yeah, we always try and like continue to be relevant too. You know, we like to switch up our menu. We like to host events if we're able. We like to, you know, go be out in the community doing stuff like this. Or, you know, we make pizzas every summer at Bristol Fruit Hills Winery. Like we like to be involved in Elkhart. We like to be involved in like people who dine at Antonio's, who bring their families to Antonio's. So that's a really interesting challenge too that we've really started to pay attention to and navigate is like, how do we always, like if you're going to a restaurant and they never change their menu, like over time, you're either going to order the same thing you always get because nothing's ever different, or you're going to stop going there eventually because it's like, well, I don't want to eat the same stuff over and over. So we have like our core menu items that people know and love, but we've been really trying to implement like new specials, especially in the summertime when like produce is abundant. You know, it's a great opportunity to be like, what's fresh in our garden right now? How can we incorporate that for this week? Gotcha. So yeah, and clearly like competing every year and experimenting with new pizzas. Like we're bringing new pizzas and new items and new flavors to the menu, and we want people to enjoy that food too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shared that you guys participate also with like wineries? Yeah,
so there's a local winery called Bristol Fruit Hills Winery. Okay. And they're like off of US 20, kind of like back into Bristol a little bit. And it's a family owned and operated winery. And, you know, Dave Muir is the owner with his wife, Michelle. And their son and daughter-in-law are like taking over their business, which is really cool. They've got like a nice family as well. And so we go, last year we did it a lot more. I think we did it like 3 times last year. This year we're going to be there on August 30th to, you know, they sell their wine. People can purchase pizza and like whatever else we have there. And it's just like a fun couple hours with like music and food and wine. And it supports food and wine and then like the music vendors too. So it's like a really good opportunity for community and to be involved and to see people. We do it on Sundays too. So it's a day that we're not normally open, a day where you can't normally get Antonio's. So it's very fun. The heat does affect the way our product cooks because we do everything in like big ovens in a tent on a trailer. So like when it gets really, really hot in June and July and like the crazy heat waves we have, it does affect the way that the pizzas cook. So we've kind of scaled back from doing it during those months and like more towards September.
Gotcha.
Like it just makes it a much better experience for like us making the food,
Yeah.
and then like everybody getting something that's really delicious and exactly how we intended. So
August 30, see you guys there.
yes.
You'll see me there.
You're gonna come?
Hopefully, yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Alrighty. Carmela, do you have any last words for the audience? Any advice for the youth or anyone aspiring to become world champions in their own passions? Whatever that means.
I would say, as someone who was recently married, recently had a baby, and recently became a business owner, I just think that you have to be okay that you're not going to be able to give 100% in everything. And I think that's really important to like protect your mental state a little bit. You know, I think moms naturally have some mom guilt being away from their baby when they go back to work after having a baby, or whether you choose to do that or choose not to do that. Like, I'm happy that any woman has that choice, right? But, you know, I think I would just, especially women, like don't get discouraged when you feel like maybe you're not being present as a mom or not being present in your business. It's like once you kind of internalize that I'm still doing everything, it's okay to not get so wrapped up in like thinking that you're a failure, because you're not a failure. You're juggling 3 crazy jobs, being a wife, a mom, and a business owner. And that is something I wish somebody would have told me kind of like when I was beginning, that, you know, it's hard, but it's good, you know. I would also say too that never stop learning, like any industry you're in. If you want to get involved in pizza, you need to go to Las Vegas. They like have a great pizza scene too, but like specifically the Pizza Expo in Vegas, if you're thinking of opening a pizzeria, you want to own a restaurant, specifically pizza, like that is like the hub of knowledge and networking. You want anything from ovens to dough bins to online ordering to phone systems to, you know, trying new food products to trying, you know, different techniques, or learning from like pizza masters, literally. People like so trained in their craft where everything is no matter how many times you go to this, you're always going to be learning something. And I feel like that's like the best place. If you're able, you should go at least once to just meet people and be exposed. If you never leave Elkhart, you're never going to know how to do anything different. Elkhart has a lot of really cool things to offer, but if I've never gone to Italy or never gone to Vegas or even, you know, gone to southern Indiana to like, or tried a different type of cuisine, like that's how you get inspired. That's how you learn that there's other ways to do things, maybe easier, better, faster, stronger, more efficient ways. You know, you can get a lot of inspiration from just being open to trying new things. And I think you always have to be improving. You always have to be open to learning. You have to always accept that I don't know everything, and maybe you want to get as close to that as possible, but like you can learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Not get like bogged down and like this is it and this is my box and I can't go beyond my box. Like sometimes people get really upset when we take things off the menu, like seasonal specials. But I always think it's a really good opportunity to encourage people who maybe order the same thing every time to try something new, to try a new flavor, to try a new type of pasta or try a new protein. Like that's how you get exposed to new things, and then that's how you get inspired. And that can be applied to any facet of your life. Yeah. That's what
Words of a champion, guys.
Yes.
I know, I'll take note on some of those things.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Carmela, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
It was amazing. I'm sure the audience will appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you guys have gotten to know Carmela a bit more.
Yeah.
And go check Antonio's out.
Yeah.
Ask for her, she'll be there.
I'm there every single day. I'll come out and yap. I love to yap.
And Paul's new restaurant was called
Amici.
Amici.
Yes.
In
on
Elkhart?
Jackson. Yep,
Yep.
on Jackson.
All right.
Cool.
Till next time, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
making me feel like I'm a real celebrity.